Hello, everyone. I am the Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for Week 18 of the NFL season. So it's time to predict the final week of the regular season in the NFL. Glad to have you here. We are coming off a week where we went 11-5. It's a pretty good week overall. We'll look to do better this week. Now, with it being the last week of the season, I feel like I should start with the more meaningless contests and work my way up to the more impactful games. So I feel like that's what I'm going to do, and that starts with the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. These are both teams that will miss the playoffs regardless. Both teams have had issues with their offense. That being said, I'm taking the Patriots, and I feel like New England, even this year, has seemed to have the Jets' number. They just know how to beat New York. And it's been a while since the Jets have been able to knock off the Patriots. In fact, look at what we have here. It's been a while since the Jets have beaten the Patriots. Look here. February 27th, 2015 is the last time the Jets were able to beat the Patriots. That was in New York. And the last time the Jets went to Foxborough and beat the Patriots, well, you have to go all the way back to the 2010 playoffs, the 2010 divisional playoffs, where they were able to pull off the upset 28-21. As for the last time they went to Foxborough in a regular season matchup, you have to go all the way back to 2008. Yeah, New England just does not lose to the Jets, especially not in Foxborough. Which is why I'm taking the Patriots. Other more meaningless games, you have the Browns and the Bengals. Sounds like Cleveland will they will bench some starters. And that will include Joe Flacco. And with Cleveland moving in that direction, I'm taking the Bengals to close out their season with at least one divisional win. This one over the Browns. Elsewhere, you have the Chiefs and the Chargers. That one also a meaningless game. Chiefs locked into the third seed. The Chargers already eliminated. The Chiefs, of course, going to bench some starters, most notably Patrick Mahomes. They will instead start Blaine Gabbert. And it's because of going to those bench players, I'm going to pick against the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chargers. So the Chiefs will finish 10-7. By far the worst record they've had since Mahomes became the starter. But oh well, they've won the division again. They're going to be the 3 seed. They're going to be fine. And then you have Broncos and Raiders. Both of those teams are eliminated from the playoffs. And both of them trying to ride kind of an opportunistic defense with a backup quarterback under center. You have Jarrett Stidham for the Broncos. You have Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. And I just feel like it's going to be the Raiders who win this one. They would sweep the season series of the Broncos. And there you go. Looking now at the more meaningless games in the NFC, you don't really have a lot of meaningless NFC games. I mean, you have Rams 49ers, which that's meaningless for the 49ers. Almost meaningless for the Rams. I mean, they are locked into the playoffs. They're currently a 6 seed. They could drop to a 7 seed, but it doesn't sound like the Rams really care about that one, seeing as they decide that they're going to go with Carson Wentz as quarterback. The 49ers doing something similar. They're going to go to Sam Darnold as their quarterback. At this point, I just feel like the 49ers are more talented even with the backup quarterbacks. And that's going to lead me to taking the 49ers to win this game. Vikings and Lions is also in that sort of meaningless camp. I mean, the Vikings, they can go out there and win, and they could actually get in the playoffs. Lions, they're playing for seeding. That being said, I'm still taking the Lions. I feel like the Lions are still going to give it their all, especially if last year was any indication. The Lions, they're not the kind of team that's going to care if they don't have much to play for. If they have the satisfaction of taking out a division rival, they don't care about that. And they're going to take full satisfaction in ending the Vikings season. So yeah, I'm taking the Lions. Now looking out there in the AFC, you have the AFC South is up for grabs. Jacksonville can get it with a win over the Titans. I think they go ahead and do that. And if Jacksonville does go ahead and win that game, that locks in the South for them. They would be the 4 seed. They would host the Browns. If they were to lose, however, that makes the other game we're looking at, the Texans and the Colts. That makes that game very interesting. That would have made that a division championship. Instead, you're looking at it. It's still winner gets in the playoffs. But now the winner will be a wild card. And to me, I like the Texans. I feel like I trust the offense of the Texans more than I do the Colts. I feel like I trust C.J. Stroud especially more than Gardner Minshew, which is why I'm taking Houston. Yeah, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, the Ravens, locked into the top seed. They're going to be sitting some starters, most notably Lamar Jackson. Pittsburgh, though, they can get in the playoffs. And Pittsburgh, they're going to try their hardest. They're going to go into Baltimore. They're going to beat the Ravens. I truly believe Pittsburgh beats the Ravens. And now set up a big matchup on Sunday Night Football, pitting the Bills against the Dolphins. Winner wins the AFC East. Winner gets the 2 seed. If Miami loses, they're the 6 seed. They got a trip to Arrowhead coming up. If Buffalo loses, they could be out. And the way I have things going down in the AFC, they would be out. They would be out if the Steelers and Jaguars both win. But I don't think Buffalo will have anything to worry about. I think they go into Miami and beat the Dolphins. It's yet another case of I do not trust Tua Tagovailoa. That has been the main reason I have had for picking against the Dolphins as of late. And I'm using that reasoning yet again. If I had to pick one of these teams to go down, score late in a close game scenario, I think Josh Allen is more capable of leading his team to that late score than Tua is. So that's why I'm taking Buffalo. Looking over now at the NFC. NFC South races between the Buccaneers and the Panthers. And I think Tampa Bay bounces back from their loss to New Orleans. They go out, they beat the Panthers. Now with the Tampa Bay win, you have the Falcons and the Saints. The Falcons would be eliminated with the Tampa Bay win. Had Tampa lost, I would have made this the NFC South Championship. That being said, even if it was the NFC South Championship, I find myself liking New Orleans. I like the Saints to go out and beat the Falcons. I just feel like the Falcons faltering down the stretch. Arthur Smith might not be long for the NFL world. And New Orleans, I think their offense is going to do great against the Falcons. I think New Orleans, their defense is going to shut down the Falcons, and that's going to lead to a Saint victory. Looking over at the NFC East, and these are the two games I am most confident with this week. You look at the Eagles, they should go to the Meadowlands and beat the Giants. They are just the better team. They might look this as a warm-up for the postseason, but it's not going to matter because my lock of the week is the Cowboys heading into our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and taking down the Commanders. This is a Commanders team that has been especially weak in the secondary and on defense. Those are weaknesses I think the Cowboys should and will take advantage of. That's going to lead to the Cowboys winning the East, locking up the 2 seed. The Eagles have to settle for the 5th seed, which means they would have to visit the Buccaneers. Elsewhere, you have the Seahawks traveling to Arizona. I like Seattle there. They're just the better team. Quite frankly, Arizona, yes, they played spoiler last week against the Eagles, but I think this will be a focused Seahawk team as they try to win their way into the playoffs, and that will happen if the Packers fall to the Chicago Bears, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Jordan Love will be on point. Aaron Jones could have a big day here for Green Bay. And I don't think the Bears are going to go in the Lambeau Field and knock off the Packers in a win-and-you're-in scenario. I like Green Bay to win. I like the Packers to go out there and lock up a playoff spot in the NFC. There you go. There's my predictions for Week 18 of the NFL season. Let's take a look at how the playoffs would look with these predictions. On the AFC side, Baltimore gets home field. Meanwhile, your divisional round matchups. The Texans will visit the Bills. The Dolphins will visit the Chiefs. The Browns will visit the Jaguars. In the NFC, you have the 49ers get home field. Cowboys get the head-to-head over Detroit thanks to the controversial ending of their game last Saturday. So it's going to be the Cowboys hosting the Rams, the Lions hosting the Packers, and then you'll have the Bucs hosting the Eagles. So we'll see how accurate that is. And after that, we'll see just who wins the Super Bowl. But until then, I've been the Sports Wiz 101, and I will see you all later.